What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripes Show. We talk about one of the most embarrassing teams in Major League Baseball right now, the Yankees. Scott, that was funny. That was honestly, it got so bad it got funny this week.
It got funny. Yeah, it got funny. What's funny is that every single free agent that they bring in is a jackass and does stupid things that immediately just get them into a position where they're fighting from behind with a fan base and just don't understand the tone of a situation, and it drives me fucking insane, to be honest. And the whole, I'm talking about obviously this Rodon coming off the field, blowing a kiss to some Yankee fans who were giving him a bunch of shit, which they absolutely should have.
We're positive it was Yankee fans,
I listened
right?
to the press conference. Oh, I confirmed all the things. Not as I didn't go to I didn't go to an in stadium reporter, or maybe it was someone we know in the stands from one of the SoCal groups, but he all but confirmed it, that they were talking shit, and he did a reaction that he probably shouldn't have done and blew a kiss to them as something that would have been better as no reaction. Guess what, man? Read the fucking room. You have been out all season with an arm injury that you essentially
third start on July 19th. It's his third start, and it's
you
July
essentially
19th.
caused it by being Tommy Tough Guy in the spring training, and we're looking at this. I'm like, oh man, this guy looks like he's trying too hard. We're trying a little too hard, trying to be a hardo, and boom, out for half the season. Then he comes back, has a decent start in his first one, sucks the next one after that, and then does this condescending, like, I'm non-humbling, I don't get it, blow kiss, like, why are you talking shit to me? Move to the fans. In what world is that an okay situation to do that in? You just got your ass kicked out there on the field. You're about to get swept by the Yankees-Angels, and you're blowing kisses to the fans after they talk shit to you. This is absolutely embarrassing with this. I don't really give a fuck about the guy and like how he reacts to things, and if he's playing well, great. If he's doing things and going back and forth with the fans, fine. But that's not the situation. You're 0-3 with a 7.5 ERA, and you're coming in late into the year when we desperately need something like that. Someone who was paid $162 million over 6 years, the new flashy free agent signing, and you're doing this shit to the fan base. Get the fuck out of here. That's so ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous thing. It's so tone deaf. And it's just a testament to the way that these guys react to situations like this. And you see the opposite of that with a guy like Tommy Kahnle, who goes and beats the living fuck out of a fan, not a person, but an actual rotating fan that cools you down. He goes and beats the living shit out of it, a la, Paul O'Neill on the water cooler. And guess what? Love it. Love seeing the frustration, because this is frustrating. This is how we all feel. We all want to beat the shit out of something when we watch this team play and see how bad they are over a sustained stretch, and then hear the manager, quote unquote manager of the team, come out and say dumb shit every single day. He even tried to coddle Rodon by saying, well, at least he didn't get into a verbal altercation or a fight with a fan. I'm like, oh, you're insane. I want to punch you in the face.
You said tone deaf. It's so tone deaf. This organization, top to bottom, is so tone deaf. It's not even funny. And it's getting to a point where, like I said, it is funny to listen to Aaron Boone sit there after these games. So let's just recap the last 4 days for you, okay? Just so everyone's on the same page. Sunday, we already talked about that game, but you basically just out-sucked the suckiest team in the National League and had a terrible loss when your ace, quote, ace, gave you 6 basically dominant innings. Monday, you go to Anaheim. You strike out 17 times as a team. 17 times. They set records this week for strikeouts in a single series. You follow up and, oh, by the way, another extra inning and 1-run game loss for this team. Incapable of winning close games because their manager doesn't have a brain and the team has no fucking balls. Then Tuesday, you follow that up with 2 hits. 2 hits. And then Wednesday, like you just outlined, your big free agent flashy signing, who has been out all season up until the last few weeks, actually has a chance to win over fans by going out there and pitching well and stopping a losing streak. If he did that, you win over fans like you couldn't believe. Instead, he sucks, which is bad enough, and then he mocks fans. You're done, dude. He's done. He's toast. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap for Carlos Rodon as a New York Yankee. And I'm not overreacting. I'm not exaggerating. That is a wrap because this guy, I know how this tenure of his Yankees is going to go. He's going to spend 65% of the time on the IL anyway. And when he's on the field, he'll be okay. But fans will never forget you mocking them after getting your ass kicked. Never. That's never going away.
So if we're looking at situations that history repeating itself in that sense, Jack McDowell back, I don't even remember what year this was. This was like early 90s. I don't remember when it was, but he flipped off the fan base, which is an all-timer. Just throwing up the middle finger to the fan base in pure frustration.
That might be less offensive.
Yeah, it actually is. It's less condescending. At least you're coming at me directly and you're telling me to go fuck myself.
It's okay, great, got it, cool.
I would prefer you to do that. Actually, to be honest, you're right. But he did come back and pitch well. David Cohn was talking about it on the broadcast the other day, how he did come back and he did pitch well and was just one of those guys. Rodon is just in the situation he's in currently with the team in the situation they're in currently just doesn't feel the same. And we have 6 years of this guy. Can he come back? Is this a guy that absolutely wears, over the first 3 starts? I don't think I realized how emotionally, how he wears his emotions on his sleeves as much. I don't think I realized that as much. Like the guy doesn't really shy away from stuff when he's on the mound. You could see his body language is pretty telling even when he's frustrated. And to that point, like some of that I appreciate. Like I want a guy that shows emotion, and he is one of those guys. So I do think that there's an opportunity for him to come back from this. He's got to be contrite. He's got to come. And he danced around it. He needs to just come out there and just own that thing and say that it was a frustrating moment and that he should never have done that. But he didn't do enough of that. He needs to do that. He needs to absolutely do that. And then he needs to pitch well. That's exactly what will determine how this guy is perceived and how he is handled in New York. Because, oh, by the way, in his next start, when he's in New York, that we're going to see what he's made of. We're going to see what he's made of
against the Mets.
Oh my God.
Against the Mets, right? He's pitching because
I don't think he lines up for Kansas City. So yeah.
Second.
Okay.
Mets
so,
game.
I mean, dude, the Mets fans are going to be killing him too. In the ones that are there. So he's going to get it. And I'll be very interested to see how first of all, pitches. Cause if he pitches well, he has the opportunity to then say something. If he doesn't pitch well, then, God rest his soul.
Just an all-time embarrassing.
What an idiot, man. Come on. Just don't do that. Just so stupid. It's, it's the opposite of telling fans that you were a Yankee fan growing up. It's the opposite of, I saw a couple people in the comments by this stupid mustache. Like the mustache looks fucked up now, even more.
Exactly. You can't have a dumb mustache, suck, and mock fans. You can't do that. Okay, Carlos, if you're listening, which I know you're not, but if you're listening, someone get this to him. This is how you redeem yourself. Shave, first of all. Shave. Go in front of your locker, apologize.
Profusely.
Then
profusely. And be very clear and don't be gray about it. And then dominate, yeah.
Yes.
Dumbass.
And then dominate. But to your
and maybe
point
throw
about
pitches
the
over the strike zone. That would be helpful.
Well, Cohn said last night, he's like, well, when you're a 2-pitch pitcher and you don't have your second pitch, it's going to be a really long night. And I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, he's only a 2-pitch pitcher. Like, he's 2 very good pitches, but you're only a 2-pitch pitcher.
Which you don't see very often as a starting pitcher.
No. Like, you got Randy Johnson. Okay, great. One of the all-time greatest pitchers, maybe top 3 left-handed pitchers in baseball history. Okay? So you've got fastball slider. So that's what Randy Johnson was, and he's a Hall of Famer. But, like, I don't think Carlos Rodon is Randy Johnson. He's good.
Well, he's not good
Randy
either.
Johnson.
So prove me wrong.
To your
prove
point
me wrong
about
him being good, please.
The manager, just the Aaron Boone show post game all week was my favorite thing to watch.
You got to play the
I
Curb
woke
Your
up in the morning,
Enthusiasm
I
music
watched the
behind it.
highlights. Oh my god! But you dropped this in our chat yesterday. It's like he can't even sit there after the game and say, "Yeah, Carlos shouldn't have done that." He can't bring himself to do that. There is no accountability in this organization. And that does start from the top. You have to start with accountability from the top, and the owner, the general manager, and the manager. Yes, I know the players need to be accountable to themselves, but you also, the manager, need to hold the players accountable. And he couldn't even sit there and say that was a bad reaction from Carlos after a tough night. He couldn't even just say that. He had to say it's good he didn't do something worse. So Carlos is sitting there saying,
"Not my kid.
I did the
Not
right
my
thing.
kid.
I did the right thing. Nothing wrong for me. My manager, my boss is cool with what I did." Okay. Boone's sitting there all week saying it's right in front of us. The onus is on us to be better. We got to just go there and take it. We know this isn't who we really are. Everything's fine. Keep putting your head down, banging your head into the wall. Even though that's a cement wall and you're not getting through, just keep banging your head into that cement wall and things will change eventually. It's baseball. Oh, we're going through a tough stretch. It's a really tough game. Really tough game. It's been a full season worth of games dating back to last midseason that you have sucked as this offensive unit. Maybe this is just who you are. Logan, if you could play the Meredith Boone interaction. Was this from, I don't remember if this was from Monday or Tuesday. I think it was from Tuesday night.
Yeah,
Tuesday night. I laughed out loud at this interaction. Good job, Meredith. Like, thank you, Meredith, because so many times it's just fluff bullshit questions from reporters. Especially Meredith's in a tough spot. She works for yes. It's like that's a tough spot to be in. But thank you, Meredith, for saying this. Let's hear it.
Aaron, you've continued to say we need to be better, we're capable of more. However, the results haven't necessarily changed or become any more consistent. At some point in time, do you look at it and say, is this just who we are?
No. No. Like, there's no quit in it. We got to fight. Like, we got really good players in there and a lot of guys that are going through a tough stretch. For some, probably as tough a stretch as they've been in their career. You don't take your ball and go home. You stick your nose in there and you grind it out. With all due respect, we're going to keep competing, and that's going to get to be a boring answer for you guys until we break through. But that's the only thing we can do and the only thing we know how to do, and it's not accepting anything. Not when we have the group that we know we're capable of. But we got to get it out. We got to find it. For a lot of us, we've been in this game a long time, and you understand how difficult it is and how much of a grind the season is. And so you try and create an environment that no matter what you're going through, when you're flying high and riding high, to when you're going through the toughest stretches of the season, or in some cases the toughest stretch of your career, trying to create that environment that is conducive to providing the right kind of work and information,
positive
and preparation
attitude
for everyone,
positive
but
vibes
also
only.
a place that you want to be, and that's a bit of a sanctuary, and that's the environment you're trying to create.
Build a bubble in the clubhouse. Get the noise out. Okay,
First of all, I don't know what you want him to say from this. Like, it is the same question over and over again, but there's nothing to say.
No. But so Meredith was not saying maybe you guys should just quit, because that's what Boone said. There's no quit in us. Yeah, I know. There's no quit in you. Professional athletes don't have quit in them. Meredith is saying maybe you guys just suck. Since August 1st of last year, 155 games. It's now 156 games, but I pulled these numbers on 155 games. Call it a full season. That's basically a full season. 232 batting average as a team, 306 on base, 400 slugging. That's a 98 WRC plus. They've been 2% worse than a league average offensive unit for a full season now. That is including Aaron Judge's historic season last year. Okay? Remove Aaron Judge from this team, which we're seeing now, and they're way worse than league average.
Yeah.
Way worse than league average. So I understand they had a good first half last year.
They had a great
but I'm sorry,
first
this
half
is the
last
same. This is the same offensive team. They did not change the offense from the second half of last year into this year. It's this other than Volpe, who they added, who has not been good. He's had 2 streaks, which we've identified, 2 streaks, otherwise been bad. This is the same offensive team, and they are a below league average offense. So what Meredith is saying is maybe you're not going to find it because you're not good.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think
okay,
she's
fine,
right.
but she's saying that. I guess I don't know what you want as from a reaction. Yeah, we're not good. We're this is who we are. We're a 500 team. He's never. No one should say that, especially with the contracts out there with what they are. Like, he's not wrong in the sense that they should be better. The people in that clubhouse should absolutely be better. The talent level, the back of the baseball card, all those things say that this team should be better. So where's the disconnect? There's nothing concrete to say.
Why?
They should just stop doing their interviews because there's nothing for him to say anymore. And he's just going to look like an asshole every single time he opens his mouth because there's nothing to say. Nothing that he could say would make you happy right now. It's a fact.
No, I'm not saying it would make me happy.
That would make you satisfied.
If he just stopped saying the same thing over and over again, I'd be
I don't know,
angry.
man. It's like it's become a broken record on the reporter side, on the manager side. Getting his reaction for me at this point where I am.
Well, do you know how Boone can stop the same question over and over again?
Yeah, I know. They could start winning. They could start winning, and they could actually start turning
obviously.
But that's it. That's the way that the post games change. If the post games change, it's because something changed on the field. Otherwise, you're just pushing the button and poking the bear and trying to get something out of him. That he'll say that he hasn't said before, and he's just not doing it.
Maybe, and Kay and Cone said this on the broadcast. They said we don't know what happens behind closed doors in the locker room. Does anyone here believe that Aaron Boone is calling players out behind?
No, he's not
doors?
calling. That's not what he does. He's a great communicator. He doesn't
exactly
do that.
So what we are getting from him publicly is the same bullshit he's spewing internally. Now, maybe Aaron Judge or Rizzo or Stanton or Cole or somebody is standing up in the clubhouse and taking that on themselves to try and motivate the team. I would hope so. It's not working. Clearly, it's not working. I know the players, ultimately, it's up to them to motivate themselves and be better on the field. Aaron Boone can't make Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo and DJ LeMahieu all of a sudden start hitting again. Those players have to start hitting. Sean Casey can't do that either. Okay, Mr. Gonna come in here and make an impact. You think he's regretting his decision yet? You think he's like, you know what? I had a pretty good gig just sitting in my basement and going to MLB Network and talking on TV. What am I doing here? Just like I'd hang out with my dumbass friend Boone for a few months.
Who I'm realizing is not good at his job. Yeah.
Idiot, Sean Casey. Dumbass. Shouldn't have taken the job. Could have told you that. But it's just like the same bullcrap, no accountability. Sucking on the field is one thing, and then just getting the same shtick from the organization, almost gaslighting the public and the fan base to being like, no, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah,
everything's fine.
It's not.
Like I expect Brian Cashman to do one of his like State of the Union type things where he calls the media to him on Friday before the game. He usually does that whenever the organization is
when he wants a distraction,
terrible stretches, right? And he's gonna say, I know exactly what he's gonna say. Our process is sound. We have the right guys in the room. All that bullcrap.
We're looking around to upgrade the roster as we can with the trade deadline coming up. Guys are coming back.
Eventually, you have to look at the scoreboard. And the scoreboard says you don't have the right guys in the room. Your process is not sound. That is what the scoreboard says. The scoreboard is not a short sample size anymore.
You're just not going to get that from people. You're not going to get that from people who don't have job security in the public eye. You're just not going to get that. You're not going to get that type of answer. The answer that the only person who can give that answer
is one thing. The action is another. They're not giving the answer and they're not taking the action.
So the answer means nothing. But the only person that can say that will actually have some substance is Hal. He's the one that has to say that. He's the one that says we're going to have to look at all personnel, everybody. That's who it has to come from. That's who it has to come from. If you want to hear it from one person, it's got to be Hal, and Hal's got to say it and be definitive about like, hey, everybody's job is on the line right now. Everybody's job is on the line. There's not one person who are not evaluating for how they are doing their job, how the last few years have come together. There's not one person that we're not looking at, maybe besides Aaron Judge. That's it.
Do you think Hal will ever say that, or do you think he even?
But I tell you right now, if I were on his team, on his staff, and I saw the fan base reeling, I saw the team reeling like this, I would absolutely say that. I would take a little page out of my dad's book and I would walk up, because everybody, whether you liked or didn't liked or respected or didn't respect Steinbrenner, everybody knew that he wanted to win. Everybody knew that. Everybody knew the actions were because he believed that's what he needed to do to win. And that was never a doubt. And that's a big doubt right now in this organization and the way it's perceived. So if you were to come out and say something like that, at least at the very minimal, say something like that and just acknowledge and be very, very real with the situation to this fan base, yes, I believe it would go a long way. And I believe it would put some heat on and immediate. That's immediate accountability right then. As soon as you utter those words out of your mouth from Hal Steinbrenner saying we are evaluating everything, we are not good. We need to figure this out, and everybody is being assessed. Immediate accountability for literally everybody in the organization.
I agree, and it would. I forget what I was going to say.
It would shut us up a little bit because it would make us.
Okay, exactly. It's in the same vein as a player standing in front of his locker and just saying, "Yeah, I was bad." Like, that's all you have to say. It's the same vein. It gets fans to take a step back and say, "Okay." Like, still, ultimately, it's on the results changing, and if the results don't change, it eventually fans will be upset again. But if Hal sits there and puts that message out, then that's fans saying, okay, that's what we wanted.
And
now let's see.
And the fans then are like, okay, you know what? I'm not in a glass case of emotion where I feel like I'm fucking crazy because none of you are acknowledging what I'm seeing. That's for the thing. However long.
It's like we're going, it's gaslighting. We feel like we're going crazy. It's like what we're watching.
I don't feel like I'm going crazy. Good. I know what I'm seeing. I think that those people are stupid for not saying the things that they should say. So It's not working because I don't think people are crazy. What this is, this fan base has every right and they should feel this way because this is the way that they are making us feel, okay? By watching this product day in and day out. There's 162 games in a year, and most of us have been watching forever, our entire lives, and we don't miss games. It's because we're obsessed and it's been passed down in our blood. We have no choice. If it's on, if it's 7:05, we know where we are, and we're watching this stupid game, and we're watching the whole thing unfold in front of us. We know that. We know what we're seeing. And to act like it's not there is just, it's irritating, man. It drives you crazy with the way that they're reacting to it as well. That's the bigger thing. Mm-hmm. It's read the room, understand what is actually happening, and then act accordingly. Just act like a normal human being and take accountability and someone who's not coddled. That's it. It's not that hard. Baseball is hard, but accountability isn't.
Oh yeah, Boone has said multiple times this week, baseball is a really hard game. So we know, Boone, it's a hard game. But the care factor is there. That's actually a quote he said. The care factor is there. And the compete factor is there.
Compete factor.
Okay, Boone.
He said something about putting points on the board last night. I think annoying to me. Putting points on the board.
Oh, he's proud of the points.
No, he's just like, we got to put points on the board. Just.
So I think Hal made it such a point to not be his dad. And his dad, for the most part, was reactionary and would make changes a lot of times too quickly. And so, something would go wrong for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he'd fire the manager, or he would, one bad thing happens and he's, making a massive trade for, prospects out, aging free agent in.
Not a bad correction. You just can't overcorrect.
I mean, but
he's overcorrecting.
George definitely had those flaws. And I think those were evident in the late 70s after the championship, throughout the 80s, before he got banned from baseball, Gene Michael took over and the dynasty happened, right? It's like, but then we even saw it again after the dynasty started to wane a little bit in the mid 2000s. We saw some of those changes. Like, they won a lot of games, but they never won a championship but I think Hal, when he took on the team, was like, I'm not going to be my dad. And it's almost to a fault where he's going to let things ride way too long, even if they're broken, because he does not want to be reactionary like his dad. And I understand not making decisions based on a small sample size, but like I said a million times, this is no longer a small sample size. This is 5 years basically of sample.
Yeah.
You got to make a change after 5 years. 5 years is plenty of time, Hal, to evaluate things and say, this is not working. Boone is not working. Brian Cashman's team building is not working.
Yeah, no, it's yes. It has to happen. Like that's what I want to hear from. And I don't want to hear some bullshit from him either.
So to Hal's comments on the Michael K show from a few month back, he said, well, it's on the fans to be accountable. Okay. Yankees fans out there, this is your opportunity to be accountable. They're coming home to play the Royals. Who gives a crap about the Royals? They've got a new insurance logo patch on their jersey. Don't go this weekend. I hope 7,000 people show up on Friday night.
Again,
I know it's not going to happen. It's going to be, the tickets are probably all sold out, first of all. I know it won't technically be a sellout, meaning every ass in every seat, but there'll be 38,000 people there on Friday. It's a Friday night in the summer.
Against the Royals, which you're going to
weather's going to be
hopefully
good.
See a win. That's the thing. Like
weather's going to be good. This weekend, Saturday, Sunday, people are going to go with their kids. They're going to buy the hot dogs, the chicken buckets. Hal's going to rake in millions of dollars this weekend.
Imagine they get swept by the Royals.
He doesn't. Whether you sweep the Royals, get swept by the Royals, whatever, that doesn't change the fact that the course of this team right now is terrible. I don't care about sweep. You should sweep the Royals. They're not gonna sweep the Royals. They'll probably take at least one game. I'm not even confident they'll take 2 out of 3 with how this is going. But the Royals suck eggs. You suck. You're in last place.
Yeah, two last place teams battling it out.
Winning a series this weekend against the Royals, losing a series, that does not change my opinion.
Of course. I mean, they if they lose this series, you're like, eye roll, saw this coming. If they win the series, you're like, yeah, they should have. I mean, that's exactly how it goes.
I mean, last night, it was a 7:00 start. I basically do, bedtime with Harrison from 7 to 8. So I'm not really in front of a TV watching the game. I was following on my phone. I saw 2-0 and I saw 4-0 before it was even like 7:40 at night. I'm like, well, this game's over. That's it. That's a wrap. Man, this team ain't scoring 5 runs.
I got a text from my buddy Jim. I've read these before. They're funny.
Hold on, before you do that, can I read a game time?
Yeah, do that. Then I'll read Jim's update.
Game time is the fastest and easiest way to get tickets. I don't know why you would ever want to go to a Yankees game this weekend. If you do want to go, I bet you can get in the stadium for like $1.
Game time's great for that.
They should pay fans. Hal should come and pay people to go to the stadium.
Christmas in July, they should be giving away tickets via Game Time.
Game Time is definitely great for getting tickets at a great deal. The app is very easy to use. You can find flash deals and sales. You can identify where the best deal is in the stadium, or it also has theater tickets, comedy shows, concerts. Maybe you want to get a jump on some other sports because you're done with baseball this year. I wouldn't blame you. Some of the reasons why I like using the app is you get images of your seats, so you know exactly what to expect. It's a very fast buying process. Just 2 taps and you're done. Seriously, the thing takes like 15 seconds to buy tickets. They're also sent directly to your phone, so you don't have to dig through your emails to find them. You can snag tickets without stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Bronx for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, create an account, use code Bronx for $20 off your first purchase.
I will say some other ticket services, putting out renderings of images from your seats. There's a couple of tweets that have gone viral recently about people buying tickets, looking at a computer rendering of a view from a different ticket site, and then getting there, and there's a pole in their face. Not a Game Time. Not a Game Time.
No, Game Time. It's pictures from people. People upload the pictures of the tickets they bought. You can see other people in the stands, so you know it's a legit picture. At least for Yankee Stadium has removed most of the obstructed view seats.
Some of these are older ballparks.
There's still a couple of dumb obstructed view
but it doesn't
seats
matter. Nobody sits in their seat anyway.
Yeah, that's right. There's one.
So it's a stadium of loitering now. My buddy Jim, who also wears his emotion on his sleeves, but is also very true here. And if you've been listening to the show, for me, I'm a Jets fan. Good or bad, at least I got something to look forward to this year. I feel bad that you have to care. I can stop paying attention in disgust. Let's go Jets. And we were talking about Rodon earlier. You scratched the Rodon comment earlier. Thin-skinned ass clown is blowing kisses to fans at 0-3 coming off of injury. Scratch my fucking head. It's like,
you remember Sonny Gray? laughing as he got bombed by the Orioles.
That's all I
coming
could
off the
think of.
mound,
That's
getting
all
pulled
I
in the
could think
second
of. And
inning.
I'm not gonna
Exactly.
give Rodon that much energy. I'm not gonna give Rodon that much energy. I'm not. He's not a rental. He's not a
Well,
rental at this point either. That's
6
the
years,
difference. That's a
6
huge
years.
difference. It's a huge difference. Sonny Gray came in and actually didn't pitch badly when he first got here. Did not pitch badly. Pitched pretty well. We had him for what, a year and a half, right? Was the control.
Didn't Sonny Gray start the first game of the playoffs in 2017
Yes.
for the Yankees?
I'm only saying yes because other people are nodding their head. I don't remember anything.
He pitched well enough.
Game
He
one
wasn't
after
dominant.
Severino.
Yeah.
It's a wild card game. Yeah.
And right. Game 1 of the DS, and then he didn't pitch until game 4
Right.
of the ALCS. So they did skip. He was fine in the second
He
half.
was when he came in,
but
he pitched.
anyway.
He pitched. Yeah, he pitched okay. He wasn't terrible. Anyway, he was a rental, a year and a half. Obviously, they traded him, but there was a year and a half control when they got him, so it was fine. Rodon's here for 6 years. Like, you need to squash this right now. If I'm Carlos Rodon, you didn't come back enough from in postgame with saying the things you said. He understood that he made a mistake. I could tell that he understood he made a mistake, but he didn't walk it back far enough. He needs to walk it back all the way. Walk it back all the way. Do something. He needs to do something. Like, I don't know. Go stand outside in a Yoda costume and give away bobbleheads outside the stadium. Do whatever you got to do to kiss everybody's ass, but you got to do that and make that right, because you are an ass right now. You pitch like an ass. You're getting paid like a king, and you're acting like an ass. Not a good combination.
Let's hear the post game from Rodon.
Been putting up runs.
No, I mean, it sucks. I didn't do my job today and give my team a chance, to put runs across the plate early. I gave them up early, and we were in a hole. So, today I wanted to come in and shut it down, and it totally backfired in my face.
Can you kind of just take me through the situation as you're exiting in that second inning? You kind of went through blew a kiss or something like that?
Yeah, I blew a kiss. It was. I guess it was the best reaction I could give.
That's the same answer Boone gave.
Better not to give a reaction, I guess.
If you're looking at his face right now, though, he's
one
like,
of those
God
things, I was
damn, that was
frustrated
so
and-
stupid.
Better to blow a kiss or not do anything at all. So it's just a frustrating outing, that's for sure. And I showed it there in the second early.
Was there something in particular that was said that led to that reaction?
No, I mean, I didn't.
So he actually said, "Yeah, it's the best reaction."
No. He said no, because he said or not given a reaction or not. He look. To be very fair, I watched that post game conference. I had to watch it. I needed to see what he said, and I needed to watch his face when he said it. And you could tell that the guy was like in his head, like, "You are a moron. You are such an idiot for doing that." But he just didn't say that. Didn't say enough, and he needs to say more. But you could tell that he regretted every second of it. But yeah, man,
because fans will give you slack on performance for a little while. I mean, if you're a free agent signing, they give you less slack because you're a free agent signing and you're getting paid a lot of money. Or in Giancarlo Stanton's case, you're a big trade acquisition. Like, Stanton didn't get slack. A-Rod didn't get much slack. Rodon's not going to get a ton of slack. You will get no slack if you do something like that. And also, unless you're awesome, you will be hated.
well,
so it's like, even if he goes out there and has like an okay start, that's not going to be
no,
enough.
it's fine. Actually, I think that's fine. The bigger issue is that the team is ass right now. The team is ass. So when you're doing that at a point where the whole fan base is just at a point of like discontent, frustration, like pissed off, like whatever you want to call it. They're in an emotional state that's not good. Not a good state to be in, not a fun state to be in, especially New Yorkers, Yankees fans who run a little hot. You're not doing, your timing on this thing is not great either. It's actually the worst you could possibly do. So if you heard that press conference and there was no kiss blown to a fan before that, you'd be like, okay, fine. He sucks. He needs to be better. Like, this money he wasn't spent, but he at least is saying that he was standing in front of his locker and saying, like, yeah, I came in here to do the thing.
Sucking is one
But he also owned the fact that he
Sucking-
sucked too. So like, you're doing half of it, but you really fucked it up when you blew a kiss to a fan who was talking shit to you in slow motion as you're getting your ass kicked, about to get swept on the West Coast. It's the context matters.
Yep. And just to add insult to injury, like from things this week, like the record amount
42,
of strikeouts
44?
is in 42, basically a 50% strikeout clip for the team this week. Like yesterday, Franchi Cordero, who has a good night at the plate, gets a double in his first at bat, and just a boneheaded base running play, getting thrown out at third base with a ball hit in front of him. That's this team in a nutshell. One step forward, two steps back. That the Franchi Cordero night is basically replace that name with Gleyber Torres, because that's
not fair. Don't throw shots at Gleyber Torres
hitting
right now. He's the only person doing anything on this team at all. So I will not stand for the Gleyber Torres slander.
Even if someone has a good night on paper, they do something.
But guess what, man? Like, I get it. I get it. This team can't score a goddamn run. If you're on second, you might as well not be on the bases. If you're on third, at least there's a
third and a ball hit in front of you.
A chance in hell that there's a pass ball and you can score a run. I'm just saying, I understand. They are dying for runs right now. And if you're on second base, it means nothing to this team because you can't get in from second base. If you're on third base, at least there's multiple opportunities to get in. So I do understand a guy like Franchi Cordero, who's coming in trying to be a lightning rod for this team, who has zero lightning rod and is trying to just take another chance or do something, and he read something wrong. I have no problem with it.
So you like the aggressive, you like the dumb aggression. Because that's basically what aggressiveness, dumb aggressiveness. So that I bet Boone feels the same way. I bet Boone liked Franchi's aggressiveness on the base paths there. He didn't make a bad base running decision. He was just aggressive.
He actually called it out. Said he did make a bad base running. He made a bad read, which he did. So in the moment, the instinct was wrong on the read, 100%, no doubt about it. Shouldn't have made that read. But I don't hate the aggressiveness. I don't hate the aggressiveness on a team that is absolutely sucking ass. And you can't score from second base anyway. What's the goddamn point in being there?
It's just everything. It's just one of the many things.
But that's the point. That's the point. Like, you have a guy like Franchi Cordero who shouldn't have to press like that, but feels the pressure to press because no one else is doing their fucking job. So that's when you get situations like this where you get a guy who is trying to make a play, make a bad read because in his brain he's trying to get that extra base because he knows that the rest of the team is struggling. It puts you in that position to then make bad decisions, and it changes the way you have. Your impulses or your instincts on the base path are actually used. It does. It's like, that's human nature. You're trying to do more for the guys who can't do anything. And when you do that, most times you fail.
I mean, it's also like Peraza, who's called up for Donaldson's injury, is hitting leadoff. He walks 4 times on Monday night, but one of the times he was on base, he gets picked off. And then after that game, I think, what did he strike out 7 of his next 8 plate appearances? Peraza did. Yeah, and then so it's like, okay, this is supposed to be one of their top young prospects who's getting another shot.
Yeah, exposing himself for the trade market. That's what's happening.
Not proving himself. You've got Volpe, who you anointed as the next Derek Jeter this year, who aside from 2 small hot streaks has been awful. Like, we're getting to a point now with Volpe where maybe he's not going to be a great player.
I'm not there. No,
okay.
No,
he said,
I mean, because there's
what have you seen? What have you seen from Volpe that says he's a good player?
Good streaks for a young player. When you see good streaks, that's a positive thing. Yes, there've been
good 2-week stretches.
The last one was more than 2 weeks.
Stretches. We're not talking about 2-month stretch. No, it wasn't. It was June 13th to July 3rd. It was 18 games. It was barely more than 2 weeks.
He's a rookie. I'm not even remote. When I hear him talk,
he's a rookie hitting what?
I just want him to be okay. When I hear him talk, I just want him to be okay.
What is it under 200 again? His batting average, because he's 4 for his last 42. No. After hitting 379 from June 13th to July 3rd after the stance change. He had that brief hot streak of 379 with over 1,000 OPS. Then he had that brief hot streak when he went to the leadoff spot early in the season, where he wasn't really getting a lot of hits, but it was he was getting on base a ton. He was stealing bases, and he was. Other than that, he's been awful. He's hitting 207.
You can't say shit about Volpe in a season like this. You just can't. I'm sorry.
I can't say shit.
Not about his long-term. Not about his long-term prospects. Aaron Judge struck out 50%.
Well, I'm not giving
in the first half of the year, so he made adjustments.
Yep. And then he had to go outside of the organization to make adjustments in order to be a good player. So unless Volpe is going to go outside of the organization to make adjustments,
shown that he will. He'll go back home for some dinner and talk to a kid who's also off outside the coach's room. So I'm not.
Because what about this organization has told you they're able and capable of evaluating young players and having them progress from the minors to the majors and get better each year? Nothing has said
I will not
that.
allow myself to get into a headspace where I am looking at a rookie who is going through streaks to say that he's not going to be a good player. That's not what I see. I see all the
I said maybe he's not going to be a good player.
I see all the intangibles in the kid. I see the ability to do the thing. He's young. He sounds like a baby. I feel terrible for him every time he talks. I just want to give him a hug and tell him everything's going to be fine. That's what, every time I hear him in the press, I'm like, oh my God, stop asking him questions. He really feels bad. He feels so bad right now. He feels so bad.
I'm sure Boone is patting him on the head like he is a little bit.
You know what?
Like
I think he's actually Aaron Judge is talking.
Maybe he needs to be treated like an adult.
Yeah, he is, and he's giving adult answers. It's just in a baby voice, and I feel bad for him.
Aaron Judge. Did you see Aaron Judge smiling with his giant horse teeth last night in the dugout?
Don't. Aaron Judge is fine. Everybody's on Rizzo.
You see Rizzo yucking. You see Rizzo yucking it up with Judge last night.
Guess what? What you can't be just a miserable fuck every second when you're in the dugout when you're playing the game. You can't be. I'm sorry, you're not even playing the game. You can't be a miserable fuck the entire time. The camera's going to always catch someone smiling or laughing or whatever. Rizzo, if people don't think Rizzo cares, you're crazy. The guy cares. If people don't think Judge cares, they're crazy. He 1000% cares. These guys, the vast majority of them that we care about do care. And I'm not going down that road of looking at one smile or one shot where it went all over Twitter about Rizzo laughing about something. Someone might have farted in his face and it smelled like shit. Try not to laugh. Try not to laugh. You're trying to lighten the environment a little bit. Like I understand it. The dugout is a different place. I'm not killing a guy for that. When you blow kisses after sucking right off the field, different story. When you smile at fans who are yelling at you, different story after sucking. This is not the case. This is not the same situation.
But it's part of the environment.
They're making everybody so crazy and negative, rightfully so, that we're looking around for everything possible that is going to piss us off. We're looking for things to piss us off at this point.
Because when your manager sits there and says everything's fine, he's
not saying everything's fine. He's saying that he's giving stupid answers because there's no good answer to say either. Like at some point, I just need to stop listening to Aaron, and you definitely need to stop listening to Aaron Boone. You 100%
it's the most entertaining. It's the most entertaining 20 minutes of the evening because the game is not entertaining. The game sucks. The team sucks. So the entertaining thing is watching Aaron Boone squirm. Very entertaining. Anthony Rizzo, since that Tatis play in May, 128 at-bats, 156 batting average with a 471 OPS, 0 home runs, 25% strikeout rate. Prior to that Tatis play on the season, he had 204 at-bats with an 880 OPS. He has literally been half as productive a player since that play.
Why do you think that is? What about that play?
Clearly some injury. I don't know. Did he forget how? Did he get amnesia? Did Tatis give him amnesia and he forgot how to play baseball? Or is he injured?
Yeah, I don't know. Zero.
Because Rizzo has been a pretty consistent.
You glitched
player.
out when you said the first part of this. I didn't hear what you said, but everybody else was laughing. So I'm very curious what you just said.
I don't even remember what he said.
Zero for Ilya. What did he say?
Oh, wait, you didn't hear me say, did he get amnesia? That's funny. I couldn't remember that I said, did he have amnesia? Okay, I said, did Tatis give him amnesia? Or did he just get hurt? It's one of those two things.
I will say this. If we're looking at a stat, that's a crazy stat. 0 home runs since May 21st. Is that what it was? And Ohtani has 24. Like Gary Sanchez has 9. Is that what we got? Gary Sanchez has 9 home runs.
How many does Aaron Hicks have?
That's the graphic, guys. That's the graphic. Let's make a Anthony Rizzo graphic. 0 home runs
and Joey Gallo. Okay,
yeah. Put
Joey Gallo.
We're gonna make this hurt as bad as possible. We're gonna put Gary Sanchez in a Padres uniform, maybe in a different uniform too. We could split it up. Who is
half Mets, half Padres?
Just put him in a Mets uniform. Gallo. There, and who was the other one you just said? Oh, Aaron Hicks. Yeah, in an Orioles uniform. Put them all the home run totals, whatever they are.
6 home runs for Hicks. And what's his OPS? It's still got to be over 800 because I know he went 2 for 4 last night.
I think we have to put the number of games underneath it too, which will help the context.
844 OPS for Hicks. Oh, Baltimore in first. You know what?
So if you want to,
I might
we can
buy
go
a
crush some
Baltimore
souls by
Orioles.
putting up that.
I
graphic.
might buy an Orioles.
Everybody's
hat.
like, oh yeah, you see that
I might
graphic
buy
of
an Orioles
Ohtani, and they're like, okay, Ohtani's the best player on the planet. But you put Gary Sanchez, Joey Gallo, and Aaron Hicks on that graphic. It hurts. It stings a little different.
But he's literally been half as productive a player, a 471 OPS since then.
That doesn't just happen
Like-
to a guy like him. He's a hitter.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't just happen unless.
Oh,
he's
so
hurt.
something was interesting.
DJ
Actually,
LeMahieu-
go ahead, finish your thought, then I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
Because you keep saying DJ LeMahieu has to be healthy. DJ LeMahieu is not the type of player that just doesn't remember how to hit and all of a sudden strikes out almost 30% of the time. Why is that happening?
No, so it's confusing when I'm saying that. I think I think he's healthy, and meaning like his body feels as good as it's ever going to feel. It's just that it's different. I think it's different, and mechanical problems are different.
Oh, like Carlos Rodon's back.
Yeah. Well, he can't do the same mode. I don't think if I'm speculating on DJ LeMahieu, I bet he doesn't have the same flexibility in his foot as he did. He doesn't have the same flexion that he would, and that's affecting the way he can swing and his mechanics. That's my guess. Does his foot feel like it doesn't hurt and it's healthy? Yeah, probably, but it's different. Then I think that's fucking everything up. Boone said last night too, something about, and it was kind of out of nowhere when they were asking about the lineup, and I don't remember the exact question because again, they've all been the same over the past 2 weeks. What are you seeing from the lineup? Are you seeing better at bats? Are you seeing, the strikeouts? Are they just not giving you competitive pitches? And he said something about, well, it seems like, sometimes we're barreling them up. Sometimes we're not, we're doing the things, we're going through the motions. We're getting healthier every day. He said, getting healthier every day. I'm like, and then I started thinking about it, like, who are you talking about? Because everybody is healthy in theory. Like there's nobody that's out there right now that's not healthy.
Oh, Bader's hurt again.
That's a different story. He was in the game. But who are you talking about that's not healthy? Because he's clearly talking about one or two people that are not feeling good
Judge.
and that are currently playing. Is the way that it sounded, the way that he said it.
It's got to be Rizzo,
Maybe,
LeMahieu,
yeah. And like
Stanton.
there's people that are not feeling good right now and doing that. And with Rizzo getting a few days off here, I think you're right. I think he's hurt. I think there's something going on. And it's probably in the he's had so many back issues that removes your power. It removes you from doing the things you can do.
They eventually said neck for that Tatis play.
The neck is connected to the back, the spine,
Rizzo, right?
they're all...
His neck. No, I know, but like that was the official thing. But first we thought it was going to be the shoulder, and then they officially said neck. Stiff neck. We've all
like
had
a stinger.
stiff necks. It's tough. Yeah,
he's had a cortisone shot in his back. So no, he had an did he have an epidural? Is that what it was? We were saying something. Yeah,
it was an epidural.
Right.
It was an epidural. So Harrison Bader got hit with a pitch, and so he's got what they call it, a rib
bird
contusion,
bones.
Something like that. Yeah. So he'll probably miss some time. You might be saying, well, you can't blame Bader for that. I'm not blaming Bader for getting hit by a pitch, obviously. But again, why does it seem like injury guys just get injured a lot? Because plenty of guys get hit in the ribs and they run down to first base and their body is just completely fine. There are just some players, bodies, everyone's different, that do not respond to adversity as well as other players. And that is Harrison Bader's body.
Yeah.
Yet another reason, do not sign him.
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
offseason.
a lot of graphics going around Twitter again for him and where he is back to the mean. The on-base percentage is not good. He's a good defensive outfielder, although he missed a play the other night that I was surprised he missed. And he's not an efficient. Nobody on this team is efficient at the plate except Aaron Judge.
Boone told reporters that Judge is, quote, getting close to returning, and he didn't rule out a July 25th against the Mets as a potential target date. So we'll see there. Josh Donaldson was officially diagnosed with a grade 2+ right calf strain.
He's gone.
I didn't know that you could do pluses on each grade. So it's almost a grade 3 strain, which would be considered a tear. And then I saw this headline and I laughed. I think SI is trolling. New York Yankees lose all-star to IL again, and it's a picture of Josh Donaldson. Like, oh boy, whoever came up with that, just I guess
I didn't even know Sports Illustrated was still there, to be honest.
Frankie Montas, you remember that guy, has been limited to playing catch. He does not deserve me pronouncing his name correctly. He had to be shut down for a couple days because of right shoulder soreness. He's going to have a follow-up appointment
Sounds
with Dr.
great
Neil
news.
Atrachi.
Sounds like that. Sounds like
Yep,
that
just a
shoulder that was
home
hurt
run.
when we got him is still doing really well.
Combined games when and if Bader does not resign with the Yankees, I cannot wait to see the graphic of amount of games played for the midseason acquisitions of the 2022 Yankees trade deadline. It's going to be insane because Efros also out, and who is the other reliever they acquired who's also injured? I can't even remember his name.
And Benintendi got hurt.
Everybody is injured. Everybody they acquired is injured. It's almost impossible to have that happen. Seriously, one of them should be able to stay healthy.
Well, Meredith,
none of
Meredith,
them
we're looking at everything. We're looking at everything, Meredith. We're gonna evaluate the entire organization from the surgeons to the doctors to the people making decisions about.
Are
baseball.
you doing Hal or Brian or Cashman right now? Are you doing?
I'm doing
Hal
Larry
or Cashman?
David, doing George, who is Hal.
Oh boy! And then we already talked about Bader. What is the Yankees are 3 games over 500 right now. In the Brian Cashman history episode I did before the season started, we talked about how the Yankees have a streak since the early 90s of playing above 500 each season. It's the longest streak in Major League Baseball. Only it was like the 1920 something to 60 Yankees ever had like a streak longer of always being above 500. And I was saying, like, I think it's, this Yankees current run is going to match that, because I could not envision a below 500 season for this team anytime soon. And I said I think it was like the date they needed to reach was 2030, which is basically when Judge is still on this team. Like, they're not going to put a below 500 team on the field while Judge is still on this roster. They are sniffing 500, and it's July 20th.
Let me read to you something here. And we don't know what Judge is going to be when he comes back either. We're hoping that Judge can be close to himself, but goddamn, am I not going to be surprised if he comes out just not good, not good at all. Okay, so what's today's date? The July 20 off day. Okay, Kansas City for 3 games. Cool. Should be some wins, right? Should be. Then you got the Mets for 2. Doesn't matter how they're playing. Doesn't matter.
After another off day,
then another off day after that. Then you got Baltimore.
Yep. So just be prepared. Hold on. They've got 3 off days in 8 days. So be prepared for Boone to try and steal some extra rest days in there.
Can I talk now? Ready? The next stretch here. Okay. They're talking about a 500 team. We're trying to be above 500. The month of August is not fun because there are teams on here who are much better than we thought they were going to be. So you got Baltimore for 3 at Baltimore. Then you come back home for a stretch, 3 against Tampa, 4 against Houston. Then you go to Chicago for 3 against the White Sox, who, have talent. Wouldn't surprise me if they all showed up on the days that the Yankees came out there. Then you're going down to Miami, who's a young and hungry team who's going to want to beat the shit out of you. Derek Jeter revenge, all of that. Then you have Atlanta for 3 games. Then you go back home to Boston, who is a wild card again. They're better than you now. They're probably going to be better than you then. It's Yankees, Boston. Anything can happen. And then you have a little bit of a letdown with a day off. You get the Nationals, who are coming to town, should beat the shit out of them, but probably won't. Maybe you win the series. Then you're going back to Tampa, going to the Trop, then taking a nice long flight out to Detroit for 4 games, in which you close the stand out, the away stand with Houston. So go Detroit, then go all the way back to Houston, then go back home for Detroit again. The month of August is not fun.
That sounds like a hard schedule.
Yeah, especially the stretch that's coming up, like after Kansas City, the Mets for 2, Baltimore for 3,
think about all those
3,
teams.
Houston for 4.
Think about, other than Toronto, that's the only team you did not mention that is above them that they're chasing to get into the playoffs. Baltimore, Red Sox, Houston, Tampa, all of those teams they need to surpass 2 of to get into the playoffs. You need to surpass Boston and Toronto, or Boston and Houston, or I don't think Baltimore's falling or Tampa's falling all the way back to that place at this point. But so you need to pass.
These are the last 3 games against the Orioles too. If you remember, they played them a whole bunch in the beginning of the season. Yeah. So these are the last 3 games.
They play 6 or 7. 6 or 7 against Houston this in this upcoming.
There's
stretch.
three
Is it
at
6?
home. I'm sorry, 4 at home, and then 3 on the road in
Okay.
the first week of September.
So it's 7
In
total
the next
games
2 months.
because you need to. If this team is actually going to make the playoffs, like we're no longer just talking, like we're in a very real state where what is their road to the playoffs? And their road is you need to pass 2 teams. So when you play Houston 8 times over the next few month and a half, you need to win those games. When you play Boston 6 times over the next month, you need to win those games or else you're not making the playoffs. Because you can't be below them in the standings and then lose the head-to-head against them and expect to.
So I'm gonna make
it's not going to happen. There's
a
not enough
proposal
time
for next year too. Is we need to do the trade deadline episode a little later. I know we try to get out ahead of any trade that happens, but we need to do it a little later because.
Do you want to just do another one where we sell?
But here's the problem. I was looking. I had a
sell.
whole. Yeah, I had a whole
sell?
post. It was sending to you guys in our chat that I left in drafts by accident about who we can't sell because there's no one to sell. Nobody worth a damn that has a decent contract that you can get rid of and get anything back for. So even if they wanted to, like they could unload the bullpen. That's probably the biggest asset that they have.
I have a few ideas,
but you're just not getting a ton.
You trade Glaber to the Dodgers because they need a middle.
Okay. Again, you're not going to get a ton
hitting.
for Glaber, but
get a prospect. The 17th ranked prospect in the Dodger system is probably better than the Yankees' #1 prospect. Okay, Yeah, I mean, the Yankees get their hands on him right now, so I don't ruin him.
Glaber's on my good side. Glaber's actually playing like the guy he should be playing with offensively right now. He's playing to the guy that we want.
Get value for him. Get value for him while you can, because this will not last. Glaber Torres is not good.
Yeah. All right. Keep going. Stop. I don't agree with that.
And the bullpen.
The bullpen. The
bullpen. And then maybe someone takes a shot.
But the last 2 weeks, the bullpen's been terrible. So again, diminishing.
Yes, but you still have pieces in the bullpen. The pieces in the bullpen, and then maybe someone takes a shot on Luis Severino.
Again, what's the point of that? You're not getting shit for that.
If you're selling, I'm not suggesting you do this because none of those are going to yield that much. But if you're selling, those are realistically the only pieces. This is not 2016 where you can trade Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman for elite prospects. This is not 2016 all over again.
It's not close to the same. It doesn't have any of the feel of that. And there's not a whole bunch of kids waiting in the wings to come up to take those spots. Because then there were a bunch of kids that everybody was very excited for that came up and played with fire and played with, something that this team hadn't seen in a long time. And then they fired the manager. Like, baseball guy, someone who's actually going to teach them how to play, someone who's going to give them a foundation of accountability and teach them life lessons as a young group coming up through the Bronx. Let's just bring in the cool uncle. Let's bring in fucking Uncle Rico so we can have some fun and let them pick the music they want to play in the clubhouse and do whatever the fuck, go on vacation, march around acting like their shit don't stink. Let's do that instead of having the figure in there that's actually going to put a little bit of discipline. You know what? Some people say that Joe Girardi wasn't a great manager. Some people say that, when he went to the next end, didn't do a good job. That's fine. That's fair. But you know what? For this team, for the team that they needed structure. They didn't need a friend. They needed structure.
No one says Joe Girardi was not a good Yankees manager.
At the end of it, people were saying, obviously, it's what have you done for me lately? That's all. It's like the chirping at the end of when he got fired. People, probably us included. I'm sure there's sound bites of us destroying him.
No, we said this. Yes, I called for Joe Girardi's firing after he didn't challenge the play in the second game against Cleveland in the ALDS. And after he got fired, I said I wasn't like super opposed to it. I said, I don't know if Joe Girardi is the guy. I don't know if Aaron Boone is the guy. Let's wait and see. We now know that Aaron Boone was not the right guy. We don't know if Joe Girardi was going to be the right guy for this team either. But what we can say with certainty is under Aaron Boone, the young players have gotten worse. And I don't know if that would have happened under Joe Girardi. Like you said, yes, he was tough, and that was the reason they moved on from him. But Gary Sanchez was an all-star.
Yeah.
Playing under Joe Girardi.
So you know who the right guy
Gary
was
Sanchez
under our nose the entire time, and it was Rob Thompson.
Maybe Gary Sanchez did not like Joe Girardi.
Good. It made you
all-star.
like play well in spite of him. Fine, great. You know what he did? He communicated exactly what he needed to do to get the best out of you. Whether it's the guy that's being super positive or the guy that's coming down on you, he got the best out of you. Isn't that what's important? Who gives a fuck about optics?
All right. This is you said we weren't going to
Well,
talk for an hour.
it just became a session, really, because there's nothing to talk about on the field that makes any sense. So you know what? We just need to spill out what's in our brains and what we're thinking and feeling.
If they do lose the weekend to KC, then I don't know how we're going to do an hour on Monday.
You can't talk about guys. You can't talk about baseball right now. This is not even baseball. This is bullshit.
No, Logan, we are not beating the Girardi drum saying the Yankees should have kept Girardi, because you're right. He did get fired from the Phillies, and then the Phillies went on a run and went to the World Series.
With Rob Thompson also on the coaching staff.
My point is, clearly their decision saying Joe Girardi is not the guy, Aaron Boone is the guy, was wrong. That was wrong. So
I mean, yeah, but that's so
maybe someone else was the guy.
That's easy to say right now, but whatever. Either way, in the moment, it was such a weird time just because of what just happened, and what he got out of that team.
But the decision was made long before,
and that's the problem.
Was made
and that's the
before.
Fucking problem. Actually, that's the root of the problem. There are too many things that are decided ahead of time, and then no matter what's in front of you, you just do that thing. It goes that's exactly how Aaron Boone manages. That's exactly how this organization runs.
You're right.
They do too many calculated things because they believe that this is the right way in a conference room when they're having meetings with nerds and maybe one scout that they put in the back of the room and tell us shut up. And they come up with these decisions and then they move forward with it no matter what is in front of their face. And that's the problem. There's no pulse. There's no pulse with actually what's going on. It's just a bunch of bullshit in a back room. And then